Have you ever stepped away from a story for months or even years, then tried to come back to it only to feel completely lost and maybe even a little scared to look at your old pages? Hi, I'm Cassie, and if you are a discovery writer struggling to reconnect with a story you thought you'd left behind, this is the video for you. Today, I am sharing the real behind-the-scenes steps I took to finally reconnect with a story after 4 years away, and how you can too. First, let me paint a picture for you. 4 years ago, I did what I felt was the impossible, and I wrote 50,000 words in 1 month for NaNoWriMo. That's awesome, right? I thought it was pretty impressive, but unfortunately, not soon after that, life got in the way and I got swept up in another story. Before I knew it, those 50,000 words started collecting a whole lot of digital dust. Yeah. Fast forward a few years and I published that second story. Yes! But now I needed a new writing project. And that old NaNoWriMo story was still in my head, wiggling around in my brain, taunting me. It just would not quit. Did I mention that this lasted 4 years? Yeah. So I knew I needed to get back into writing this story that was constantly bugging me, but every time that I sat down to actually write, nothing. Nada, zilch. The words just would not come. Seriously? Why you gotta do me like that? It was kind of like my story was a country I had left years ago and now I'd returned, but I'd completely forgotten how to speak the language. So if you're feeling that way too and you're struggling to get back into an old writing project after a long break, here are the 6 steps that I used to get unstuck and finally start making progress on my story. No hair pulling necessary. The first thing I did was just read what I had. No editing, no judgment, just read through it to soak everything in. I even printed out my story because holding the actual pages made it feel more like a book and less like a half-finished homework assignment. This step is 100% about rediscovering, not fixing. Yeah. So let yourself enjoy what you wrote and enjoy rediscovering the things that you forgot about. Maybe your characters will start whispering to you as you read, or maybe you'll cringe just a little bit. And that's okay. It's all part of the process. As I was reading, I kind of started having a dialogue with my story. Things like, oh, wow, I wrote that. Oh, and oh, geez, cringe. I scribbled my reactions in the margins. I wrote down questions and marked the scenes that I knew I needed to cut. And I hyped myself up with nice comments over lines that I just loved. And overall, I read like a reader. Be real with yourself if you try this. Circle what gives you a jolt of excitement, cross out what makes you groan, and jot down any new ideas that you have along the way. This is a way to build a bridge back to your characters, their voices, their dilemmas, the romantic subplot that makes you kick your feet and giggle a little. Yeah. Now here's the part that I did not expect. The one thing that was actually holding me back the whole time. I'd grown too attached to my words, to the work I'd put in, and I really needed to let go. Letting go of the scenes I'd obsessed over for years was pretty tough. There's a weird emotional attachment that goes with writing, right? They're your babies after all. So part of letting go meant grieving, to read through your story and say, thank you for getting me to this place, and then release it. And you know what? Something amazing happened when I did that. I noticed new possibilities starting to tug at me. New ideas, like my story was waiting for me and I just had to be willing to give it a fresh start. Okay, confession, my old draft was a glorious mess. So to feel a little more centered, I spent a morning scribbling down descriptions of my existing scenes. Super brief, nothing fancy, just enough so it made sense to me. It was kind of like decluttering my closet so I could actually decide what I wanted to keep. It helped me see the bigger picture without getting bogged down in the weeds, you know what I mean? So if you're a big picture thinker like me, creating a scene inventory, if you will, might help you make sense of your own chaos and spot the gold hidden amongst the clutter. Now this step is super important. Before making any changes, I saved a copy of my original story document and labeled that sucker, calling it my story's working title, whatever yours is, draft 2, and the month and year. Make sure you label it, please. And I'm saying this from experience. By keeping a copy of the original, I actually felt safe enough to move forward. Knowing I could always come back to it, it freed me up to make changes to my new draft. And honestly, I've never had to go back to the original draft. But if you're feeling nervous about moving forward, save a copy of your work. It's a great safety net for your creativity. Now that we've gone through all the pre-writing steps, it's finally time to write. Not rewrite everything perfectly. Nope, we're not doing that. This is about play. Yeah. To see what happens if you just start with whatever scene feels the most alive in your soul. It took me a minute, but I dove in and I let curiosity take the wheel, following whatever spark caught my eye without worrying about the right order or the best scene. Just write whatever you're excited about. The rest is gonna come later. Right now, it's about digging into your story and gaining momentum. And if you want some extra support as you reconnect with your story or you navigate the messy middle, I invite you to check out my Discovery Draft Adventure Kit. It's a digital workbook full of tools and prompts to guide you through the whole discovery writing journey. No outline required, my friend. Just something to make the whole process a little less overwhelming and a lot more fun. Because getting back into an old story is part detective work, part therapy session, and part wild adventure. Sometimes you just need a little help. It might be messy, but so is every great journey. I'm sure you've grown as a writer, so let your story grow too. And if you want to tackle the biggest hurdle stopping you from finishing an old project, watch this video now where I'll walk you through exactly what that hurdle is and how to get past it. Your story is not done with you yet. Join me in the next video. What was that? How did we do?